Hey there, Trekkers and Trekkies. I hope you are having a wonderful week. I have been relaxing. I'm trying to find where my stuff is. Um, and took a week off. If you didn't notice, you probably didn't. It's fine. Um, and I decided that I want to do what do show some of what you've been doing. Every week, I end the show by saying, go make something. Well, some of you have, and I want to take a look at it. So I have pulled a few pictures that people have sent me of some of the 3D items. If you don't, if you haven't, if you're not into 3D printing, but maybe you saw my video back in January of the 3D items that I am making now. They're available for download on Thingiverse. There's a handful of exclusive items on my Patreon. You can go over there and join up, and there's free stuff. I'm posting something almost weekly. Sometimes it's only for paying members. So occasionally it's for free members. You have to have at least signed up. You don't have to be paying anything, but I'll throw stuff out there just because you are a free member on there. But anyways, that's why you should go check it out. But just want to take a look at some of the stuff that I have made that you guys have got at your house now. Now, first off, this is actually something I printed for somebody. They saw that I had posted them, but they don't have a 3D printer, so they, messaged me. They were like, "Hey, can you make this desk, and can you make the computer console wall, etc., etc.? Can you make those for me?" It's not the computer console; it's the computer bank, whatever it is from the Enterprise D. You can see what it is. But I was like, yeah, I can do that. Of course, obviously, I've got to charge for them, and of course, this person lives pretty far away. I'm not going to go into where they are, but their shipping was substantial. But anyway, so first, we're going to look at some stuff that Alan has made. This is the Romulan command chair. It's from an episode of Deep Space Nine, and he printed that out. Now, I should go ahead and warn you, a lot of this stuff is not, some of it has not been painted. Some of them people are still working on. I've had some people send me pictures of their printers of being printing stuff, and I'm going to show you some of those just for fun. But he hasn't gotten to painting this one yet, but of course, he doesn't have to have a whole lot of paint. But, and of course, you can make it whatever colors you want. But yeah, that's the Romulan command chair. And here you can see the Romulan cloaking device from the original Star Trek series, which that's actually a free item on my Patreon. It'll eventually be posted to Thingiverse. And what's bad is that I can see in the background here, he's posted the Romulan helm console, but he's never sent me a picture of that. So Alan, what's up? Now, he did send me this picture. It is the Romulan command console. Now, obviously, he had to split this up into a couple of pieces in order to get it to fit on his printer, because it's a pretty big fella. I think it's about somewhere around like 7-8 inches wide this direction. So, big guy. And then this is the Klingon command chair that I made available on Thingiverse. Next is Brian. Brian has been working on making his own version of a bridge. This for his imaginary crew. Now the command chair here, this is actually made by Triple Fiction. So is that console behind there is made by Triple Fiction. But the rest of this stuff is stuff that I made. You've got the Enterprise E tactical console. I think this is one of the freestanding consoles. This is the Enterprise D's Battle Bridge Captain's Chair. Got the Enterprise E Helm and Ops, which apparently the leg broke. I think that's why that looks that way. When he was trying to take the supports off or something to that effect, he was just a matter of that he was being a little too hard and a little too rough, and it came loose. And then these are wall consoles that I made that are similar to the wall consoles on like the Enterprise A and B and other ships like that. Now this is just him kind of reworking it here, and he's got I think these are Defiant chairs, or is that Runabout chairs? I've made a lot of chairs, and I've gotten mixed up on which ones are which, so you guys give me a bit of a break. Here he is messing around with another version of the layout, and he had the idea of using 3 of these standing consoles. Now, this is from Jonathan. This is still Brian. This is a sign that I made. It was just one of those things. I was at home messing around, and I had this idea of a Star Trek styled bathroom sign. And as you can see, it uses the typical male-female figures, but I added the little line on the shoulder like the Starfleet uniforms, and I put the little Andorian antennas and little pointy ears on the 2 figures, and it actually says bathroom in Bajoran, Klingon, and Vulcan. And honestly, the only reason I picked those 3 is because they're fonts that I happen to have on my computer. Anyways, so next, Jonathan, he has been printing out some Lower Decks stuff, like I have. If you follow me on Facebook, you've seen some of the Lower Decks stuff that I made. And I will be having the bridge walls coming out very soon. No, it's interesting. These figures here are like keychain figures. You can kind of see here on Boimler where he has taken, and I think you can see there on Mariner, he's taken the little keychain bob out of the top of their head, and he's got them posed, which it looks a little bit weird for the helm and ops, but it works fine for the tactical and the captain back here. Which, speaking of which, here's a better look there of what those look like. And then he's also been working on the Kelvin bridge, and this is where he's actually collaborated with me a little bit. I had made the captain's chair, and well, we'll go ahead and flip over, and I had made the helm and the side consoles, but I'd been having some difficulty on the walls. And Jonathan's actually, I sent him my files that he had, and like 2 weeks later, he's like, "Hey, I was able to fix it." And I was like, "Oh, yay, thank goodness," because they were giving me trouble. But he, and I've actually learned what the problem was now, and I can fix those kind of issues myself now. But he's doing these for the 3 3/4 inch figures that Playmates made back in 2009 when the first movie came out, which is cool. And then I think this is the last one from him. This is a custom of a Xindi reptilian that he has made, and he has printed out the Xindi insectoid that I made. He's not painted it, obviously, which is one thing that's funny to think about with this bridge, is he hasn't painted much on here, but it's still already the right color. Anyways, but yeah, I am super proud of how the Xindi insectoid came out. The head looks fantastic, and the arms can, of course, move up and down. The head can turn left and right as well. So, next we are going to look at some stuff Dave has made. Dave is really big into making Mego action figures, and apparently gets a stockpile of these bodies. I'm playing. I've joked with him about that. They're not cheap. They're not expensive, but they're not cheap either. They're about, from everything I've seen, about $8 to $10 a piece for those bodies, and he's got so many of them. And this is the Commander Baraka Cardassian head that I made quite a while back, and he's put this jumpsuit on it. This is God, I can't remember the character name. I looked it up now. And you remember in Star Trek 6, the communications officer that comes to Sulu's quarters, that Christian Slater played. I made that just to kind of look like him. And I looked up, apparently he has a name in the beta canon, and I can't remember right now. Oh well. And I made Robin Williams. I've been making a lot of heads of other people who aren't in Star Trek, but that I would be interested in having a figure of. Of course, I did make at one point a Mork. If you'll go back to one of my Halloween videos, you'll see the time that I made a custom Mork from Ork figure. Pretty happy with that one. But now I've got the Robin Williams head that we could use to make any Robin Williams character you want, pretty much. Now, here I made, I almost said Jake Sisko. No, it's, God, what is the dead grandfather's name? It's not, there's Ben Sisko, Jake Sisko, Joseph. Sorry. Somebody was probably yelling at their screen. You know it's Joseph. I made Joseph Sisko's head. And you made this little outfit for it, which just, I hadn't really thought about it. I did notice in watching that he does tend to wear purple shirts a lot. Don't know what that's about. I guess maybe the actor was like, I like purple. I want to wear purple. And they were like, okay, you can wear purple. Here is a head for a B'Elanna Torres on a Mego. If you're wondering why the suit is the way it is, because that's one of the suits that's made for the 9-inch Playmates figures that he's put on the 8-inch Mego figures. So it does look a little baggy. It's not as noticeable with the male figures, but with the female figures, it's pretty obvious. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute when we get to one of the other ones. Here's Captain Maxwell. He used, obviously, Captain Picard's outfit for the Mego and printed out the Captain Maxwell head that I made. Did a fantastic job of the paint job. This is Lieutenant Tyler, not Tyler. Oh man, I'm having a brain fart on his name. From Star Trek First Contact, Hawk, Lieutenant Hawk. From Star Trek First Contact. Don't know where he got the phaser rifle, but that looks pretty good. I was planning on making one at some point, just haven't gotten around to it. It looks like he used either a Geordi or Data uniform to make the outfit for him. Another great job on the paint. Here's a Captain Jellicoe, which I actually just literally yesterday, here it is, finished making my little 5-inch. Let me switch back real quick. Whoop. Jellicoe. Actually, I'll go ahead and show you what I'm thinking about. I'm gonna take over Dave's time for just a minute. I also made Geordi. And I still got to make the Baldric for him, but made Worf. His face looks weird and fuzzy. And I made the Andorian. This is it's based on the Mego head from the 70s. And I redid it to look like the to fit the Playmates Playmates figures. I think it looks really cool. Like this is actually one of my favorite new figures. Like I want to have do all the stuff. But yeah, anyways, this is the Captain Jellicoe he made for the Mego figures. Made a little custom package there. I should offer to make a proper sticker that he can put over that. Here is an Admiral Ross. Apparently, this was when Admiral Ross was a captain, is what this is. Using a Cisco uniform for that. And here we have Admiral Cartwright, which he used the Captain Admiral Kirk uniform, which works really well. I'm really proud of this head. Turned out real good. Got the look, that severe look that he had, especially in throughout Star Trek 6. So good in that movie. And then finally from Dave is Lieutenant Uhura. Fantastic how this came out. And you can see this is where you have that issue of that the jacket shirt's a little bit baggy. But it still works. Pants are obviously a little bit long as well. Actually, this isn't the last one. This is because there's Captain Garrett and Captain Harriman, which the Captain Garrett looks so awkward. She's too short. I don't know what body Dave used. I think he used one of the kid bodies. Dave, you need to go back and get a proper female adult body, because she looks so short. Captain Garrett wasn't a midget, little person. But anyways, these look really good too, and I'm real proud of how these head sculpts came out. And then this is just a picture of a mix of the official Megos, like the Pike, Kirk, both Kirks, and the Picard are all official Megos, but the Harriman, the oh god, what is his name? I'm Decker. There we go. And well, these two are the ones I made. Now this Archer apparently is one that a friend of his made. I have made an Archer as well. But yeah, that's those. So next, we're gonna look at some stuff that Bradley has made. Bradley, this is the MSD wall that you see in a whole bunch of stuff, and I made it where it's empty on the inside, and you see that line there. It's so that you can take and print. I made like 25, 30 different versions of system displays that you can print on transparent sheets, and you slide it up inside there from the bottom. I don't know why I'm pointing at my screen. So that you can have the characters looking at the master system display that is there. Now this is a mix of all kinds of stuff. Like you've got the Playmates engine room here that I did not have anything to do with. This the engineering table. This might be one that Triple Fiction made. I can't really tell in the picture for certain. I know a couple people have made the engineering pool table. I have not, and it's because there are several versions of it available. I'm not going to bother. And then these walls, I don't know if those are the ones that I made or if they're the ones somebody else has done. I know that this wall back here is one I made, and you can see there's similar blank walls back here. And then the engineer's office consoles over here on the left, I made those. And then this wall here for engineering, and I made the matching wall that's on the left side that would be over here, but you can't see it, obviously. I know that those are mine. That you can go and find on either Thingiverse or on my Patreon. But like I said, I don't know. I did make corridor sections like this. I never asked him for clarification on whether or not those are the ones that I designed, or if they're ones that Triple Fiction did. Because I know that Triple Fiction made these as well, and I just don't know. But he's working on putting this together, and that's the other thing. We're going to be looking at, like I said, stuff in different phases of being worked on. So don't judge it too harshly. Obviously, he still needs to be painted and stickered and stuff like that. Here is the start of the bridge for Discovery. The captain's chair, I have not made it yet. Don't know that I will, because there are a couple of versions of it already available. I may do my own spin on it, but this is definitely the Triple Fiction version. But the helm and ops consoles, I made. Those are my design, as well as the chairs, which the chairs are fiddly as all crap. If you decide to go and print these, be very careful about supports on those chairs and removing them. I would say print with light supports, because it's hard to get that kind of detail. But they look fantastic. He's got that gold paint and the silver accents, and it looks good. So good for him. Hopefully we can. I'm working on some Discovery heads. It would be nice if more of these figures would go on clearance, so that we can get some, and then we can take and pop her head off and put Arium's head on there or whatever. Here is his work beginning on the Voyager mess hall, and I believe everything here is stuff I designed. I know the couches are, the tables, the chairs, the kitchen. This is all stuff that I have done. And it looks pretty darn good. He's still got to get the coffee table made, but and there's some pieces missing from the kitchen, but that looks fantastic. And I do have the front windows available, and I will be making the sidewall with the door and the replicator soon. But the back wall back here, other than the wall where the trash disposal is, the rest of them are just kind of standard blank walls. So just go use that file. And now here, this is a mishmash of all kinds of stuff, but I'm proud of the stuff that I made in here, because you've got Dazbot made a lot of the Quarks bar here, back here, and the entrance and the red walls. I know he made those. The tables, I know for a fact, are definitely Triple Fictions. The Dabo table, I think that's the one I made. It's hard to tell in this picture, but I think it is. But these the beams here, I designed and made those. And then this wall over here on the left, which we'll get a closer look at here in just a second, I did those. So yeah, he's working on his bar, and it looks amazing. Here is a closer look at that wall, which I made the wall segment where it's only half, and then you can print it twice, and boom, boom, and it looks really cool. But yeah, and let's see, this is the sick bay. Now the medical table here at the front and the cart are Triple Fiction stuff, but everything else, even Nursagawa's head, is stuff that I did. The walls actually have a little hollow space behind the grill, so that you can install some little lights, and he's done that, and that's why you've got the lights shining through, which looks fantastic. I have honestly, I didn't realize till he had printed this that this table was actually a little oversized. And so I have gone in and I shrunk it down just a little bit because I didn't like how big that it printed here. That's more of a me thing. You can do whatever you want. You print it 18 inches tall if you like. I don't care. But here's another angle on that. He did a really good job on painting that Nurse Agawa, especially for such small details. But, and it was actually funny when he was printing the walls, these little S shaped walls on the side, they had a tiny flaw because little secret for if you don't do 3D modeling, if you have two things that are the same but mirrored, there's actually a deal. When you finish, you can make one, and then you can find that little. There's a you go in and somewhere in whatever program you use, there is usually like a flip or mirror, and you just hit that, and it goes bloop, and you've got the right side. So both walls had a flaw in them because I had made one. It had somehow I had missed a little connection, and there was a mistake in it. But I was finally able to fix it. It took me a little bit, but I got it, and those are printing really well now, and they look great. And that's just a great shot. Love this floor that he made, which that's something I don't make a whole lot of floor stuff. I've been making more for like platforms and that kind of thing, but you're on your own for floors most of the time because most, especially next gen and that kind of thing, most of the floors are just flat floors. I'm not gonna make, I'm just gonna make flat sections. You can figure that out yourself. Get some foam board, foam core, do it. Now, Hayes, my buddy Hayes, he's made a ton of stuff and him using things I made, but he's not got a lot of pictures. And this is some of my favorite of his that he's done. Is he's been making the from Star Trek Voyager, the Captain Proton set, which he's done. All the figures are his, and the walls are obviously just plain walls. And then he's got these, like, I don't know if those are lights or jars or what they are, but the consoles and the little light thing over here, I call it the spotlight. I don't know, because I think that's what it technically was some kind of spotlight. You can look it up online and find out what it is. But he made this laser looking gun thing, and I'll show you a better picture. Here's the spotlight deal. Now, one thing he did do is he found these little like rhinestones and glued them all to the surface of it. The one I made doesn't look quite that good, but that's because you can't 3D print. Well, I suppose technically if you use a translucent resin, but it would still be difficult to get that kind of detail. But anyways, he glued those onto the surface of it just to get a little better pop with light. And then this is what this is actually one of the first things I made for him at all, was the control consoles, helm consoles, whatever you want to call it. Which of course they can double for consoles for the Starfleet ship. What was the name of it? Dauntless? Yeah, I think it was the Dauntless. So, anyways, we are almost done. We're down to the last person, Joshua. Now, if you remember, I think it's been about a year and a half, 2 years ago, that over on our friend Look at My Star Trek Toys looked at Joshua's promenade that he had made. And at that point, it was almost entirely made out of like cardboard and, crayons and whatever. I'm picking on him. But he's been working on 3D. He just got a second printer recently, but got a printer like 7 months ago, and has been working on 3D printing the stuff that I make. And he's been getting this stuff printed out. And if you don't, I don't know what is going on here, but if you don't recognize this, this is the table, the counter for the front of the Klingon deli. Now, this is the Defiant room. This is the crew quarters for the Defiant that you can find on Thingiverse. And I have made a doorway for it in the walls. He's made those. He hasn't gotten a picture of, I don't have a picture of those just yet, but I made the bunk. And he actually had this idea of putting this little strip of glow in the dark. I think it was like glow in the dark tape or something like that at the back to give it that look, which is really cool. So he's been working extensively on his promenade. You can see here he's working on redoing the car. I told him that he needs to get a couple of little pieces of cardboard and put "Please excuse our mess, we're under construction" type of thing on his promenade. It'd be funny. But here is like the walls that go behind the one of the little kiosks where they sell stuff. Real happy with how that came out. Here is the bridge railing with a figure, just so you can check that out. Which that came out really, really good. Now, of course, he's going to have to print a whole bunch of those. Here's just some more work. This is the Bajoran Temple door that I made. And this was actually something that he had. I think it was actually Bradley he got to print it for him because he hadn't gotten a printer yet or something like that. It was quite a while back. If you ever paid attention on the promenade, way down at the far end, near where the airlock is this weird looking couch. And it took me a while to get a good picture of it to figure out how to make it. But that has happened and it looks amazing. And he has found this paint that I love this color. This color is so gorgeous. I was like, I want to paint walls in this color. It's called Purple Pizzazz. And it looks great for the couch there. He also used it for the Latinum Exchange here that he's got next to this. Now, I think that he's got a Triple Fiction Quarks bar. I'm not 100% sure on that. But in the back there, you can actually see the Preco table that I made for him. I know that the tables are, again, Triple Fiction. I've got some of Triple Fiction's tables as well. Now, here he is working on the inside of his Quarks bar. And you can see he's doing the same thing that Bradley has with the columns. But he's added these little sticks in order to have them stick up to look like those cables that are around the bar. This is over by the airlock past the security office. Is this door that in Star Trek Online, it's a door to the transporter room. But in the show, it's a chemist office at one point. Here's another look at it. And the way that the doors open is actually really cool. This beam here is the fix point. And so you push these doors in, these little flaps pop out. It's like they turn. And it's really neat. Don't know where he found this spiral staircase. It's pretty decent. I'm working on a spiral staircase to put on Thingiverse soon. And his airlock's not one I made. It's somebody else made it. Don't remember who now. Somebody who doesn't do a whole lot of online stuff. Now, this is him doing a video tour of his promenade. Now, this door is one that I made, the light fixture, and then we get to the Klingon Cafe, which looks so good. He's got that triple fiction sign, and then there's the temple, there's the kiosk, and the infirmary, and then some more walls that I made, and then the airlock. I'll go ahead and let that play through one more because he goes from one airlock to the other. He's currently, literally, as I'm recording this, working on the door for the security office. Which, it's funny, mine is a little bit taller, but not as wide as the one he made, which is good. Works out for him. So, as we're wrapping it up, here is his work on the upper level. I made the windows, and after he got the first one printed, he took a picture so that I could see the scale that I don't remember if he went with the 8-inch. I think he went with the 8-inch windows, which I didn't realize until after he had made these. I told him, I said, "Hey, just found out on the show, those windows, they were actually like almost 12 feet or like 15 feet tall, which would be like 12 inches to do it in Playmates scale, which would be massive. And because of this, here it is. He has been printing all these windows and he's lined them up just to show me. And I had to show you guys. If you can count those as he's running the camera across, it's like 20 something windows, which is so, and this was before he printed the little, in between beams, it's just great. But yeah, so that is, I guess that's it. Yeah, that's the last one. This actually took quite a bit longer than I thought it would. But that's okay. This has been fun getting to hang out and look at all this with you. And hopefully inspiring you to go out and make something yourself. Like I've said, that's the whole point. I want to see people do their own cool stuff. I mean, come on, look at that. Like, even if you're not into Star Trek, there's stuff you can do with it. So, I hope you enjoyed these. And I'll see you next time. Go out and make something. If you enjoy my videos and want to see more, please like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell icon. If you want to support me, you can find me on Patreon or go over to Zazzle for prints of my artwork, t-shirts, and other cool stuff. If you're still here, why? Do you want to jam out?